How's it, guys? Adam here from Reviewsicle. I thought today I would do a sort of in-depth review on the Juul. I've had the Juul for about 3 weeks now, and honestly, I really love it. It's such a great device. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on the pros and cons of the device. Before we get too far into this video is for 18 or 21 plus, whatever the smoking age is in your area. Once again, I'm an adult. I do what I want. I'm not condoning that anyone smokes or vapes. I'm not telling anyone to do anything. I'm just giving my thoughts and opinions on this. So yeah, like I said, there's the device I got. The kind of space gray Juul. And like I said, I love it. I've been smoking it pretty much consistently for about 3 weeks, trying all the different pods. And yeah, a little bit of background. I've been vaping probably on and off for about 6 years. I smoked a lot of Hubley or Shisha for many years, and then I kind of wanted to give that up, and vaping seemed a good alternative just because similar like flavors and that, similar to the flavored tobaccos, you have like your fruity flavors. So yeah, it was a good transition. Like most people, I started with regular vape pen called the Twisp, which was pretty decent. They've obviously come a long way now. I've tried out things like this, mod boxes. That's the Kangatech Subox Mini. I'm really not a fan. I wanted to like it. There's the device there, but it just mod boxes aren't for me. There's too much faff. I mean, you filling up the tank, and this one in particular, so much leaking. I don't know, people say you can get a better mod boxes and that sort of thing, but I just don't like the faff of filling a tank, replacing coils, that sort of thing. Then when they started bringing out these sort of pod system pens, I was really intrigued, because it's just like, buy the pods, click them in, smoke them. When you're done with them, throw them away. The first pod system I ever got was the Q, which was pretty decent pod system. This is just the box because I've lost it since. The flavors were right, but it's also made by Twisp. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So that was like my first sort of introduction into that. But you had similar problems in terms of pods leaking and that sort of thing. I just tried out the My Blue, which I have here, which, to be honest, is pretty good. But literally, I just got some juice in my mouth. That's what she said. It's a great device, but it's a great device, good price, but I think you're getting what you pay for. The flavors are alright, but so often, I mean, if I leave this for a week or so, if I leave it on its side like I just did now, the pods leak and you get kind of a lot of bubbling when you take a hit. And so, I mean, it was nice for the convenience, but I'm not a massive fan of this. I did try out this vape, which I kind of really love, just because I'm all about design, and the look of it's great, the feel of it's great. This is kind of like just a small vape pen. So you still have to fill up the tank. Sorry, this one's called the Sigma Vape Slim. Still have to fill up the tank, but it was just, I enjoyed it a lot more. It's less changing coils. A tank like this would probably last you a day or two, and then you can swap out flavors, which is nice with a pod system. You obviously get a lot more variety. The amount I smoke with a mod, I mean, you're only filling that up every couple of days, and if you want to change, waiting a few days for that. So this was a really nice device. I still use this on and off. I just love the feel of it, the look of it, the convenience. It's very small, slip it in your pocket. As you see there, lights up when you take a hit. It's actually a really good device. I might, if people want me to do a review on it, Oh well. Yeah, so that's where I am in terms of my whole sort of vaping experience. I think convenience outweighs it for me in terms of performance. I'm not a cloud chaser. I don't need these kind of big mod boxes and clouds. I just like a nice hit, something flavorful, something I can stick in my pocket, take wherever, charge it now and then, and yeah. So because of all the hype of the Juul, I decided to try it out, and I honestly love it. I can't get enough of it. There's so many pros and cons to it. There are cons, but they far outweigh the pros. So just thought I'd talk about it today, and I'd love to know other people's thoughts on this. Obviously, there's been a lot of hype. Some people might not think it lives up to the hype. I certainly do. First of all, the design is just great. Juul have been called the Apple of vapes, and you can really see why. It is very similar to Apple. It's just a slim sort of aluminium case, a nice brushed finish. You can get these in silver, this gray. They do some limited edition colors like maroon. It's got a simple battery indicator light there. Just a couple taps. You can see whether it's green, yellow, or red, depending on your battery life. And then it is literally just a case of plugging in the pod, and you're ready to go. There is no action button. Comes with a really nice charger, which also, like Apple's, kind of magnetic, it's quirky. I mean, that moves a bit, but I've had this charging in the car and it's never fallen out. It's just nice, quirky little design things like that that make it quite a nice system. I just love the feel of it. You'll find if you get one, I don't know if everyone's like me, but it's just, I just find myself holding it, taking a couple of hits, and then you just still, it's like part of your hand almost, which probably isn't good. But I do, it is really nice, a nicely designed device. Another pro on it are the pods themselves. They're not the biggest pods. I think these, you can see the My Blue ones are slightly bigger. I forget the milligrammage, but yeah, so it would be nice to try some, if Juul brought out some larger pods, maybe double the size or half the size bigger, just because, I mean, the way I smoke this, I'll probably go through a pod in a day, which isn't great, but I like that side of it in terms of, like I was saying with the Sigma, just a bit of variation. You can smoke one thing for one day, finish it, the next day you're on a different pod. So that's nice. The pod technology themselves is also a great plus. I mean, I've had very, very limited leaking in terms of out the bottom here, which if you've tried anything like the My Blue, often there's just, this can get full of liquid. The mouthpiece is pretty much, I've never had spitting with it, which is also a great thing. In one of my other videos I mentioned the sort of fabric pieces that they have in the mouthpiece, and those absorb any of the liquid that might run up to the mouthpiece, and that's just such a nice touch, like to have that. It's just so simple, but it just does the trick. So no spitting. Another pro compared to other pod systems is minimal burning. I don't think I've had much. If some of these My Blue pods, if you smoke them well, you'll notice that by the coil, you can't see it on this one because it's a new pod, but the one I just threw out had, you get a bit of burning around there. You can actually see it on this one, it's starting already. You're probably not going to be able to see, but you just get a bit of discoloration in the pod, and that's from burning. And literally, I think I've only seen that on one of my pods with the Juul. I think it was the creme one, and it's just because I was smoking it a bit too much, and I think it heated up and discolored. But I happened to notice that when I popped the pod out, there was no sort of signs of burning and that sort of thing. So it is a great, convenient vape. I mean, I would, if you're like me and you're not into your mod boxes and you would like a pod system or a vape pen, something that's a bit more convenient. If you've tried the My Blue and like it, I would definitely try the Juul. It just kind of ticks those boxes, and it's a lot more refined and more enjoyable experience. Having said that, there are some cons. I'd probably say one of the biggest cons is price. The device itself has come down a lot. I think in the UK you can get it for about £29. I think it might be between $30 and $50 in the US, but I don't know. So I mean, it's not overly expensive, but if you take something like the My Blue, you can pick this up for like £5, £6. And that's pretty much the reason why I bought it. I was just buying groceries the one day, saw it at the counter, and I was like, yeah, I'll try that. It's really cheap. The pods are about £5 or £6 for that, where the Juul pods they were £9.99 until about 2 weeks ago, and they put them up to $10.99. And that's for 4 pods, a box like this, which it's obviously not that cheap. It's not as cheap as if you had to get your own e-liquid and fill up a system. But I mean, for the convenience and just the look of them, the feel of them, buying a box of pods, cracking that open, it's a nice experience. There's never any leaking within the pod packaging. I've never had any leaking in there with other systems I have. It's just such a nice experience. So for the price, it's something I'm willing to pay for. I probably have to cut down the amount I smoke them just because I'm going through pods and boxes like anything. But yeah, so that's one thing, the price. Obviously there's cheaper devices, more expensive devices. Another, I wouldn't say con, but something to keep in mind is the inconsistency in how it hits. So you're never going to get the same hit. Often you'll see me hit and it might be nice and milky, and then other times I'll hit and it will be just very thin and weak. That was really thin. So that's a big thing with the Juul. Having said that, I kind of like it just because you never really know when you're going to get a really nice hit or just a weak hit, and it kind of makes those really nice hits a lot more enjoyable. There's little things you can do, and I'll do a tips and tricks video of how to make it hit better, or maybe how to get the most out of your pod. But yeah, so consistency is something. And like I said, probably one of the other cons would be size of pod, and especially here in the UK is quantity of nicotine, which obviously you can't overcome. It's part of regulations. It's, I think, 1.7% these pods, where the Americans are about 5%, which would be nicer to have a bit more of a nicotine hit. But I mean, it is what it is. I enjoy it still. You take a couple of hits, you can get a nice hit of nicotine. And yeah, I mean, it would be nicer to have slightly bigger pods just because I'm going through them like anything. But I mean, that's a small price to pay for what you're getting in terms of the experience. Let me just have a good look at this. I mean, again, the design for me is just the best part of it. You see, it's just so sleek. You've got a little laser etched Juul logo down there. It's simple. And it's just a great little device to have on you and use. So I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I've only had it for 3 weeks, so that might change. But I'd really like to know your guys' thoughts on it, whether you have it or you're thinking of getting it. Let me know what you think. I might do a review further down the line. Maybe I become bankrupt and can't afford the pods anymore. Maybe it just becomes a too expensive device to use, or I get bored of the flavors. I'm really hoping they bring out some new flavors just to keep it kind of fresh and exciting. But having said that, it is nice to you smoke a pod, when it's finished, pop a different flavor in and just kind of get that variety. So yeah, guys, Thanks for watching the video. Comment if you want to comment, like if you want to like, dislike if you want to dislike. Tell me what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, whatever you want. If you want to subscribe. I'm not of the mind to force anyone to do that. Thanks, it's been great. I hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers, guys.